Greetings, 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 everyone. It is Todd Pittner. I'm a good friend of Dave's. We've been friends for well over a decade. About 6.5 years ago, Dave reached out to me and he told me about these unincorporated nonprofit associations, of which I acquired one, and it was so good to me. Over the years, I ended up founding my575e.com, my575e.com, and I have since helped over 400 people keep way more of what they earn. I am also the co-host of Decentralized TV, decentralized.tv with Mike Adams, and that's where we are dedicated to help people decentralize their lives. I present that to you just to be able to establish the fact that, you know, Dave has been very good to me, and when he tells me to do something, I do it. I am so grateful I did the 575E, the unincorporated nonprofit associations. And so when he told me about the Tesla coil, I'm like, sign me up. And I can talk a little bit more about why later. But what I wanted to do was give you an overview how I set everything up, because it kind of sucked when I tried to go at it on my own. Thank God for Dave. He was there the entire way. But I think this video is going to be very helpful for you, because I'm going to go step by step and show you how I set it up. And frankly, it works perfectly. Okay, here we go. Let us begin, shall we? Yes, we shall. Okay, I'm just going to give you a macro here just to be able to show you that I set this up in my bedroom just because I wanted to be able to, when using specifically these plates, to be able to extend it from the Tesla coil machine over to the bed and put it down right there. I'll show you later. We'll actually get the plate out. But I wanted to be able to lay down and relax, especially my lower back. I have a shitty lower back, and I wanted to just be able to let it do its magic. So here's how I set it up. We'll kind of go step by step, and I hope you appreciate this, because I didn't have a video like this, and I was confused as shit. And thank God Dave was very, very good to me. And he hung in there with me, but he asked if I would create a video, because I think it turned out great and it works well. Everything, the setup is fantastic. Okay, first things first, I want to talk to you about the table. Okay, I went to Office Depot and I found this gaming table, and it's freaking awesome. I mean, it allows you to have this little Z thing here, right? It's pretty easy setup. I think it costs a couple $100, maybe less. And it's just perfect as far as being able to set everything on it. And then I like being able to, I invested in just a really, shitty Amazon, whatever you call that, leg rest. Doesn't match my chair, but that's okay. Just so that when I'm sitting on there and I have the helmet on, I can put my legs out. So that's what I had. Now, I did have this table that I've had forever, and it just works perfectly. So use your best judgment, but I think you want to be able to have a table that you set next to it as well, like I have, just to be able to put your stuff on it, right? Now, what comes with the machine is everything to assemble it, and I'm going to go step by step, but you can see it here. And again, just how I have it set up, and I think it's pretty smart how we did it. And it just, it's all concise, man. This is like the healing center, okay? I wanted to be able to have it to where I could sit in my chair, I could have the helmet and the attachment and all of that stuff next to it, and everything is at the ready. So this is ground zero. Okay, first things first, you have the actual setup here, the suitcase, the nuclear suitcase. And this is the power cord. What I like about this table is you can see it's a gaming table. So power cords go through it. And then you're gonna have the need for a power outlet. Now, what I did was I got a little, what do you call these things? An extension to where I put things up there to where you could plug stuff in. Not because you only have 2 outlets here, so I wanted to be able to have that to plug in my, light and other stuff. But really, the only purpose for this electrical cord right here is to go to here and run the fan. Think about it. Everything else that you're going to witness comes from the ether, comes from this room. The plasma energy. It's effing a miracle. I mean, who would have known? Now, when you get your machine and when you open it up, you're going to have 3 switches here, okay? Right? 1, 2, 3. This is important. Once you get it all set up and plugged in and grounded and all of that, that'll make sense to you in a bit. This right one, you can always leave on, okay? But when it's go time and you're ready to turn on your unit, like right now, I have it attached to this healing wand, which I freaking love, man. It totally saved my finger. I cut this to the bone. I had 4 stitches, and this sucker healed it right up. I mean, I think in time you won't even be able to tell that I have a scar. But when you ultimately turn it on, and I'm fast forwarding here, but deal with it. You turn that on, and you can hear the fan. Okay? Then when you're ready to start the healing process, you flick that up like it's a nuclear switch. Boom, bitch. See what happens? It's so cool. Now, this, see how it goes in and out? You want to get it to where it is just, not like that. You want it to have it to where it's just like kind of kumbaya. Not too much, not too little. Just like right there. It's just perfect. Okay? That's all you need to know. Now, what's happening is this is collecting the plasma energy in your room or from the ether, whatever the hell, and it is transforming it into this healing energy. Let me see. Let's pretend. Can you see the... shit. Can you see? Can you see the orange? That's the energy from the room that's transitioned. So when you're like, to pretend this was my finger, I was just putting this across my finger where I had the stitches, and man, it just healed it right up. So anyway, this is one device that is attached up here at the top right here, okay? Now, let me shut this off. Now, when you shut it off, it's kind of cool. You want to use the red. Boom. What do we say, class? You have it on. What do we say? Boom, bitch. Yeah, that's what we say. Okay, now we turn that off. So you see how it comes on and off and it works and stuff. Now we'll go into detail as to what else happens and how you have to set it up. Okay, guys, even before you get your unit, you can start strategizing where you want to put it, and then you ultimately need to hire an electrician unless you are otherworldly and can do it yourself, which I'm not. I decided to invest in a really good electrician, and I didn't want this to be janky. I wanted it to just look like it belonged here, And so I had them install this grounding wire that goes from inside to outside. In a second, I'll show you the outside. But basically, I had them take it. This is where you attach it on this last part back here. This is where you instruct your electrician. Needs to attach it here so that ultimately when they ground it, and I'll show you outside, it needs to be under 10 ohms. What's that? I thought it had to do with transcendental meditation. But Dave said no, it has to do with electricity, Todd. So consider the source here. All right, one thing that's very important, what I did is I had them take it from here. Now this, if I wanted to pull this out, there's some wire, there's some room, so it's not just, you know, that close. I pushed it back in. But I had them run it up the wall, out to the side of the house, under the overhang, and then down my 2 stories, down to the ground, of which I have 3 grounding rods buried. Again, you're going to see that in a second, but I want to let you know one thing very important, please, is my electrical outlet is right there. Now, I didn't know this, but I got lucky. There's enough space between here and where the electrical wire runs, and actually, I don't even think there is enough space. I think if the electrical wire down there ran up, I think it would have interfered with the grounding wire, which is going up. I think my outlet, the wiring, it stays down there, so there's space between it. What you don't want is to be able to have anything that is conflicting, because what happens is this grounding wire and the electrical wire, they can interfere with each other, so you don't get the power that you should. So just let your electrician know that if they are going to run it up the wall like I did, just make sure it's over a little bit, okay? A little further than I have it, maybe by a foot, 1.5 feet, just so you don't risk interfering with any other electrical wire. All right, let's go outside. Okay guys, as I showed you, the ground went from being connected to the machine to, I had the electrician run it up the wall and in the attic and then down the side of my house. I have a 2-story home, and then it comes over here, and they ended up putting 3 grounding rods. They made it in a triangle. I don't know if you can see that, but it's a triangle, and they did that to be able to get this sucker under 10 ohms. So there we go. That's the triangle. Now, I don't know if that's necessary for everyone, but that's how I did it. And then I had painters come and painted it used to be gray. So there you go. That's how I grounded mine. Okay, you guys probably know that when you get this device, there's a lot of different parts. But I'm just going to show you how I have it set up. I put the ball on top, and you want to be able to assemble it like this, to where you're going to have the wire that's already here, right, on the ball, and that's going to go to here, the bottom part. It's the bottom. It's the basement. It's always going to stay there. So when you put any other device on and attach it, you're basically putting whatever you attach on top of this. And then you have this, which you're going to use your little guy right here, okay, to be able to undo it. You want to get it really tight, but you undo that, and you see how that just pops right off? So if I wanted to put the plate on, I would just pop the plate, the end of the plate extension. Hold on, guys. There we go. All right. And I'm not going to tighten it because I am going to replace it with the healing plate. Now, very important, when you get the table and when you set this bad boy up, you want the base to have 1/3. There's 3 legs. 1/3 needs to be pointing out that way. Why? Because when you have this bad boy and you have it, let's say that you have it over here and you're laying in the bed and maybe even you fall asleep on it and you roll over, if you don't have this sucker to where this leg is providing stability this way, when you pull, you are at risk of pulling this whole damn thing down. And you guys know how much we all spend on these. And you know, customer service isn't like sending it back through Amazon. No, it's going to be a bitch. It's going to suck. It's going to cost a lot of money and you're going to waste a lot of time. So what do? We make sure we have this leg to where if you did pull, that at least you're going to get the help of this stability. Could you imagine if you had it this way and you pulled it that way? Boom, it just falls right over. Now, to that end, Dave highly suggested, and I did what he said, because I always do what Dave says, is get yourself a little screw hook, put it in the wall, and then get some string. I just got some, baking string, or string to wrap up your meat and stuff when you bake. And I didn't do just one, I did two. And then I just attached it up here, okay, above and below, just to be able to give me stability. So even if I did pull this somehow, man, I just want to protect that investment. You guys know how much we spend on these. It's a lot. Okay, you're going to have this rod, okay, that I'm just showing you how I have it set up so you have a visual, okay? You install it, and then you make sure this guy is positioned on it so that it goes up and down. Now, why is this important? Well, let's go back to here. Turn this on, okay? You want to be able to adjust this, and the way you adjust it is, watch this. You want it to be so you get stronger when you get up here. See, I like it about right there. And then you just put it in, and now boom, you're set. Now, that is going to give you the power to whatever device you're using. Right? Sorry about that. If you're using the healing rod, okay, maybe to your touch, that's a little too strong. So you may want to come up here and just take that and put it down a little bit. But I'm not a wimp. This stuff doesn't electrocute you, folks. It just gives you a nice little zzz, and it feels great. Okay? Alrighty. What do we do here? We shut it off. Boom, boom. Okay, so we have the grounding wire that goes to the back, and then what you do is you're going to have down here the red washer. The red washer goes to the red wire that then goes to this second one. Now, you don't want any wires crossing. You don't want this wire crossing with the ground, and you want this wire ultimately to be wound up so that it's nice and concise, right? You do not want it anywhere near here, crossing, or anything like that. You want it to be a direct angle over here. And then you have the white or the blue washer, sorry. And that's where you're gonna have the, this guy, right? That wire is gonna come down here and it is going to attach right here and be sandwiched with this wire, which I coil on this side, not this side. We want to keep them as far away as possible, right? So the end of it comes down to this side. So that's to the actual coil machine, or whatever the hell they call it, right? So then you make sure everything is tightened, all right? And now, whoops, I just dropped that. See how accidents can happen? We want to be very careful with all of this. So that's how it goes. Now, if I want to change this, oh, by the way, so here is how I have this set up. This is the helmet, and I have it set down here. And I'm just showing you this so you guys can figure it out yourself. But this visual should help, right? You put this together, and then ultimately there's a hole between the two. So you sandwich it between the two, and then these are already going to be assembled here. So the only thing you're going to play with is this. It's going to go over here, and then you're going to have a tube here that comes up and down. And I'm just going to tell you, I say it's about maybe 1.5 foot that I have up, right? And I have it settled here. And then when you are adjusting this, you're just literally lifting this up, and then that goes down. And that's when you're underneath it, right? See how it's top heavy right there? That's why I like that. So you just have to play around with this. I'm giving you the visuals, guys. Now, when I want to take it back up, I'm lifting it up like this, okay? And the torque is what keeps it like that. So if I want to get underneath, I sit down, I put my head underneath, and with my left arm, I just lift up closer to the helmet, and it magically falls down over my head, okay? So when you're in there, you're going to have these 2 wires that are going to be coming from the helmet, and you are going to put those on the other, see the black thing? Another wire that comes with the helmet that you're ultimately going to twist, and here it is. And when you're ready to use the helmet, you just untwist it and you assemble it up here. So you take off the wand and you replace this end. When you're ready to use the plate, you take off the helmet or the wand, right? And instead, you're going to be using this guy. And I'm going to assemble that to be able to show you how I set things up, okay? But I think that's it as far as the overall assembly of what needs to happen. So now you have kind of a visual of what it all looks like. And I hope that's helpful to you because, frankly, I didn't know what the hell I was looking at. Dave had to tell me so many times, Todd, relax. Life's okay. We can work this out. And I felt like a retard trying to put it all together, but now I feel like a less of a retard. But I will tell you, everybody, this thing is brilliant. I love how it makes me feel. I think it's magic. So what I'm going to do is set up the plate to be able to show you that when I want to go to bed or when I wake up in the morning, I actually set it down and I lay on it on the small of my back for 20 minutes. And then I put it on the front on my stomach and I do that. Now, there is a way to be able to put the plate, coming from here, and then you can also take the other plate, and when you want to do the dual thing, you put the other plate here on the background, okay? So then you can sandwich, like let's say the smaller your back and your belly, and you get the electricity that goes through your body. So it's a loop, right? But I'm not going to show you how to do that. You'll figure it out yourself. But just know that it has to go on this back. Not here, not here. Just the back. If you want that loop, if you want to use more than one device, if you want to plug in the headset, you do it from the top. And then if you want to plug in the wand, it should go to the back. But I did try that, Dave, and it wasn't powered as well. So that's why I'm always going to do the wand from the top, personally. All right, let me show you after I set up the plate. So frankly, if you come into my room on the daily, this is how I always have it set up. I love the plate so much. When I'm not trying to heal my finger, I just have it set up like this. Now the machine is turned off, right? So it's sitting there. And what I simply do is I grab it and then I bring it over here where I want to lay down. And I love having my head elevate a little bit. That's why I put it on the pillow. And I'm kind of a nut job in that I kind of want my right arm and my left arm to be elevated too. And I like having a little pillow to be able to place on top of the plate when I have it on my belly. And then I have a bigger pillow that I put my knees over, okay? So when I have this all done right, this is at a triangle to where instead of like this way I get more along my spine when I'm laying down. So this little guy's in my butt crack, and I do everything naked, guys. I'm not gonna show it unless there are tips. Unless I see a lot of tips coming, then I might, no, I won't. You could never unsee it, trust me. So does that give you an idea, right? So that it's angled like that. Now, of course, it's personal preference, but this is just what I found that I really like. Okay, so now let's go over here, turn it on, and what do we say, class? Boom, bitch, right? So now it's on, okay? And you can't see it in here, but at night, like if you have the lights off, this is all orange. Hola, everyone. This is a clip that is being edited into the primary video that I created yesterday. Because the one thing I did not address, and I apologize about that, is that before you assemble the top, you're going to also receive, it is called this is the technical term, a big ass long light bulb that comes with your set. And it should be intuitive, but you have to open up the top and then you will carefully place the big ass light bulb into the inside of the tube. And you want to make sure you can see it right up there, that the little penis at the top, you know, that guy is facing the top. You don't want to face that down. Okay, so that's the big ass light bulb with the penis, is the technical term. I believe that's the scientific term, but I wanted to let you know, you just set it in. It doesn't attach at the bottom or whatever. It should be within this, insert here, right here. That should be enough area for it to just rest in, and it stands right up and is erect for you to enjoy. The good news is I got the Tesla machine to work, and I am doing therapy right now. I'm on my bed sitting on the plate, and it charges all of my cells, and I spend about 20 minutes with my hand on the plate, just my hand. And I can tell that I don't know what it does, Yana. It just charges your body, and it has amazing healing power. And so I put it on my finger, and then I have it on my lower back now. I'm going to do about an hour's worth of morning therapy with this, and we'll see what happens. But it's a really, really cool machine, and it just kind of gives you a tingle all over your body, and it's it feels amazing. You just feel like energized after you're done, and that's what it does. It energizes your cells. It's all orange. It's so freaking cool. So energy is coming in now. This is clean energy, not dirty energy. It's coming in. It's going there, and now if I put my hand on that. Yes, sirree. I am feeling it. Do you know that with my hand on that, just my hand, every cell of my body is receiving the energy from this plate. When you relax, which I love to do right before I go to bed, small of my back, I relax 20 minutes, then I put it on my stomach. I do it for another 20 minutes. But when you do that, I mean, you feel it in your ears, you feel it in your elbow, you feel it in your head. It's just amazing. So that's giving you all of this positive, clean energy through this miracle machine. And then after I'm done, I come over and this is just kind of therapeutic. Boom, bitch. Let me shut her down. And everything is Gucci. Time to go to bed, right? So that's how I have it set up. I hope that's helpful because I just needed some visual context when I was going through it. I didn't have it. And I'm sure many of you have gone through the same thing. But I will tell you, I 100% know that this does have healing powers because of what has happened to my finger. Maybe I'll put a little bit of some video in here so you can actually see the before and after. But man, look at that. It's like you can barely tell that I even had an injury to where I almost lost my finger. You know, it's crazy. So anyway, that's it, guys. I hope you found that informative. Cheers.
They tell you what to think. They urge you what to say. They say they're building freedom while they steal your life away. They claim they stand for peace, compliance they insist. They rip apart your human heart and hope you don't resist. Decentralized, don't compromise, be unauthorized. Decentralized, decentralized, got to realize, don't decarbonize. Decentralized, decentralized. They tell you how to vote, commanding what you feel. They sterilize your mind with lies and make their fiction real. They're reading from a script, performing psyop hits. They occupy your conscious mind until you're done with it. Decentralized, don't compromise, be unauthorized. Decentralized, decentralized. Decentralized, got to realize, don't decarbonize. Decentralized, decentralized. You're living in a Truman Show, but only the red pill can know. The things you see are really there, but no one is aware. Decentralized, don't compromise, be unauthorized. Decentralized, decentralized. Decentralized, got to realize, don't decarbonize. Decentralized, decentralized. Decentralized, decentralized. Open your eyes. Open your eyes. Decentralize.